The skills you have allow you to do things that others can't. Be proud of what you know and never stop learning new skills. You're listening to the Surging Forward Podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Surging Forward broadcast, where we're helping you to have a positive view in a negative world. My name is David Valentine, and I'm here to help you see the value in the job you do and how you can keep surging forward. Well, hello again, and welcome to the Surging Forward Podcast, where we're creating a positive view in a negative world. I want to welcome you if this is your first time listening, as we always do. We're here to help you to have a positive week this week. We know what it's like working out in the trades. As a matter of fact, I think you're really going to like this podcast because I'm dedicating this one to all tradesmen working out in the field. You know, it's a tough job out there. So if you're not a tradesman, well, I'm going to start a new campaign of you need to thank a tradesman. You know, if you have a building or a house you live in or an office you work at, if you have power to that building, if you even have indoor plumbing, or you have air conditioning that works or heat that works, that keeps you from getting cold or getting too hot in the summertime. Well, guess what? A skilled tradesman put that in. So that's what we're going to be talking about today in this episode number 80 of the Surging Forward podcast show. So again, I want to thank you for being here and taking a time out of your busy week to listen to us. We're here every week providing a positive message to keep you surging forward in this negative old world. Yeah, we get beat up all the time here. So this is kind of like that light kind of at the end of the tunnel that gives us that hope that, you know what, there is a reason for what we're doing day in and day out. And so that's what we're here to help tradesmen out and, you know, help them get their credits that they need to keep their license in the active, to even help them get their license. And so we're going to be talking about that in this episode today. I also want to remind you to make sure you're spreading the word about Surging Forward. We're getting a lot of new hits. We've been really, I just want to say busy. It's been very, very busy lately trying to keep up. I was talking a while back about some of the issues I've been having for a while, but yet we haven't stopped answering the emails. I'm always answering my phone lately, trying to take care of certain things going on, but it's been a pleasure. We've even done very good with the coaching. I'm going to have to try to change some of the scheduling there. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're going to take your electrical exam, that's mostly the one I'm working on, though I can help you in other ways for taking your HVAC or maybe your plumbing exam by just kind of walking you through the book. But my biggest thing is showing people how not to memorize. Learning how to use the tools at hand can help you pass the test. So if you're interested in coaching or you need help passing the exam, check us out on Facebook. Drop me a line. We're on Twitter. And we're also on Instagram. I'm getting a pretty good following there also. And it's like a full-time job staying up with all the social media there. But it's exciting. I'm meeting a lot of cool people, getting a lot of cool responses. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you that is taking the time to give me an encouraging word. That's really kind of exciting. I never thought of how much I would benefit by serving you out there in the trades. So it's kind of cool. So in this episode here, episode 80, I want to talk about being proud to be in the trades. So this is definitely one that you want to share with some of your fellow tradesmen out there, no matter what trade they're actually in. Because this is the real deal, my friends. I was actually talking with a fellow electrician who was out in the field, and he was really kind of frustrated. There was a lot of tough things going on in his life, and I tend to get that a lot. And a lot of people share me with their issues, and they'll talk to me about things. But he was just talking about how his family thought that maybe he should quit working the trades and go back to college to get a better career. Well, being in the trades was a sign of failure. That's what his family kind of told him. And I was like, wow. So we talked for a little bit, and at least to say, I encouraged him, and we had a great conversation. So I was kind of wondering, how many of you out there actually feel the same way? And so I talked to a couple of people, some of my students. I was sharing with that, and I was sharing with some other friends that I know. And I was amazed at how some people thought that, okay, they couldn't go any further in their career. So I said, wow. So I thought I'd do a podcast on it, because this is, and basically all I could do is share my story. And so that's mostly what I do anyway. But the interesting thing about it, the trades is a place you can start right out of high school. And, well, for that matter, I have a guy who's 50 years old in one of my apprenticeship. He's in my third year apprenticeship class. So really doesn't matter age. You can start in the apprenticeship program, no matter what your age, and start a new career. And the cool thing about the apprenticeship, which it goes way back in history, what an apprentice used to be was you would find a master of a trade, whether it was blacksmith or stonemason or whatever the case may be. And you would find that master, and basically you would ask that master to teach you everything he knows so that you could become a master and provide for a good living for your family. And the reason for these tradesmen, even back then, was very important, because they're the ones that keeps the city intact. You see, it wasn't for tradesmen, you wouldn't have electricity in your home. You wouldn't be able to run the very computers that are used to charge the phones and everything else that you're listening to this podcast on. If you didn't have plumbers, can you imagine? It'd be like a third world country. I mean, a lot of third world countries out there don't have the tradesmen that can actually build the area. And there's a lot of tradesmen that do go to these third world countries and make a difference. They're providing electricity, and the thrill that people get when they get a solar power panel and are able to see a television show for the first time, or a plumber that goes out and provides running water out to a place. We used to do a lot of donations to a Christian organization a while back, where we would donate to have a well built. What such a wonderful thing. Things that we take for granted every day. Things that you listen to this podcast, you may not be a tradesman, and you take for granted every day. You take for granted that your heat's going to work, or your air conditioner is going to cool you off, or that you flip that light switch and that light's going to come on. Well, I tell you what, the reason that works is because of a skilled tradesman. You see, my friends, there's nothing wrong with a tradesman who learns his trade through an apprenticeship. A lot of guys go through, there's a lot of skill that's involved in doing the trades. And that's any kind of skilled labor job. Because it takes, you have to understand math, you have to understand physics, you have to understand how to make things stay up on a wall so they don't fall down. You have to understand how to hook up that wire in a proper way so it's not going to blow up. You have to learn how to solder that pipe a certain way so that the water doesn't leak out and cause nasty mold all throughout a home. You know what's amazing? If you get discouraged out there in the trades, my friends, you know, there's a lot of people that would never, ever even attempt to do what you do. I don't know how many of you guys out there, and men or women out there, do service calls. But, you know, if you're just working in a commercial industrial area, it's amazing because you're around like-minded tradesmen. You know, they're able to build things and create things. And that's the cool thing about a tradesman. You're actually taking something that is nothing, and then you're able to create something that works and actually makes a difference or makes something easier. But when you do service calls, you go over a lot of different people's houses. It's amazing. When you really go out there, you find out how many people out there that don't even know how to turn a screwdriver, my friends. They don't even know the old term, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. I mean, that's real. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people that come in the trades who do not have that skill. And over my time as being a leader, and I've always tried to encourage people. I've always been that way. But there's been times where I told some people, look, man, you're just not going to cut it in the trades. You need to go to college and go get a desk job pushing a pencil somewhere. And I'm not knocking those jobs either. Some of those jobs are important. You know, they got to plan things out, logistics. You know, that's a major deal. That's what keeps the country running also. But I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you out there that work with your hands. I'm talking about you out there who takes a screwdriver and puts it in their hand and knows how to make something work, or puts that hammer and is able to drive that nail and create something by cutting a piece of wood in all kinds of different shapes. Or you take a roll of wire and you're able to thread it through somebody's house in different ways and install a couple little devices and then hook it up to some crazy power source somewhere that's magic. Oh yeah, that's what everybody else thinks. It's just magic. And only my students understand what I'm saying with that, because if you're not an electrician, do you know where that electricity comes from? Do you know what makes it? If you're not a plumber, do you know where that water comes from? Do you even think about it at all? What it takes to get the water to come out of your faucet in your home? You ever think about how complicated that really, really is in the whole scheme of things? How to get the power at your house. How that TV picture is able to get into your home because somebody wired it up. How all that wood stands up during a bad storm. We just had a bad nor'easter come through here. And not as bad as some of my fellow brothers and sisters up north. But we didn't get any snow. We didn't get a whole lot of rain. But we got some heavy winds. But it's amazing how your home can hold up even through some of those tough times. And yet, there's a lot of times people's homes didn't hold up. But yet, guess who's going to help you rebuild? That's it. It's a tradesman. So don't ever knock what it takes to be a tradesman. You know, it was like the old, Mike Rowe. I always loved his show. Dirty Jobs. There's somebody behind the scenes making that stuff that you take for granted to work. And it happens all over the place. You know, where does that water go when you flush it down the toilet? Oh, yeah, nobody thinks about that, do they? But I know exactly where it goes because I happen to be on one of those plants all the time. And so it's a process that people don't want to think about it. And you know, my friends, you can make good money in the trades because it takes somebody smart. It takes somebody who's mechanically inclined, and it takes somebody who can think of an easier way to do it without breaking their back all the time. No, it's not an easy job. It's a tough job. It is a hard job because a lot of times you're working out in the rain, you're working out in the cold. So next time you flip a switch on, or next time you're in a store, or you're in a place getting something to eat for lunch, and you see the guy with the fluorescent vest on and he's all dirty and grungy, say, hey, thanks for doing a good job. Just say thank you. Hey, I kind of thought about this. We think about that. Everybody's got a job. You got the firemen and the policemen, and they do a great job. You got our military that does a great, fantastic job. But I couldn't believe about how many people are so discouraged about being a tradesperson, someone that works with their hands in the trades. Like that is some kind of degrading job. It is not. Tradesmen, I tell you what, it's harder and harder and harder to find a good skilled trade worker. I tell people all the time, you want to have a successful career in the trade? It's really not that hard nowadays. Well, you do have to have a little bit of mechanical ability. And if you have that, and you're able to figure stuff out, good grief, you come into work and show up for work on time, and you give the man at least 40 hours a week, and do some overtime here and there, I'm going to tell you something. You'll move up the ranks really, really quick. There's a podcast I'm going to do on a friend of mine. I want to actually talk to him. I'm hoping to get him on the show. But sometimes somebody sees your work, and you never know who's looking. And you might get offered that big, fantastic job that you weren't even thinking about. Sometimes I wonder how many people overhear what I say. And I have to be very careful where I'm at because I don't want to create negativity. And even though I know I'm not perfect, and I know that I've been in places before where I might have said the wrong thing, but you can make a difference. And it's very, very easy to do. You see, tradesmen are not the lower barrel. They're skilled, hard workers. They're the ones that are able to figure it out from scratch. Okay? They're also the ones that may not have went to college, but yet started their own business. They started a business that started with one person, then it went to people, then 3 people. Now, I know people who have been in business, never went to college, live a great lifestyle, and have 10 to 15 people working for them. Where else can you do that on anything else where you can have all these people working for you and barely have a college education, if not any college education? Most people, they have to go learn all these fancy things, or you have to go be a computer programmer, and you have to learn all these ins and outs on things. But the tradesman guy, he goes out there with his mechanical ability and the skill that he can take his hands and actually build something. That's the wonderful thing. So thank a tradesman. Tradesmen are very important for us to be able to continue on and enjoy the wonderful lifestyle we have. So the skills that are required to be a tradesman, sometimes I have to call it that little old mechanical common sense. In my class, I call it electrical common sense. Plumber might call it plumbing common sense. It's understanding how things work and how they get from point A to point B. What does it take to get a license? Do you want to be a tradesman? Well, you know what? Every state, and that's what's interesting, every state has a certain set of requirements. You just can't walk out and be a tradesman. If you have people working on your house and you're not a tradesman, man, I'm going to tell you what, don't be hiring just any Joe Schmo off the streets, because anybody can say they know how to fix your electrical or your plumbing or build you a shed. But if they're not licensed, and if they have not passed the proper exam and been qualified, oh yes, most states require that you have a qualification to be a tradesman, either a journeyman or a master. You can't just go out and say, hey, I'm an HVAC tech, and go out there and fix all the people's stuff and rip people off. My friends, make sure you check their license. So do you want to get a license? You know what? Whatever state you're in, you can either probably shoot me an email, and I could probably get you the requirements for your particular state, or you can just check with your local state, and they can give you the requirements for the license. So usually you got to take a test, or you have to have so many hours in the field, first of all. You have to have so many hours of training, usually 180 hours, I believe it is. Or is that a year? 180 a year. I think it's like 500 something total training, 4 years of apprenticeship. Or you have to have like 10 years of experience. Yeah, 10 years. That's a long time. And you also have to pass an exam. But every state is different. So, I'm just kind of stating based on what, my local area is. But I also offer exams to help you pass your license. There's courses that you can take if you want to get your license to help you get your license. If you want to become a contractor, that's one thing cool about a tradesman. If you already have the skills, you already have your license, you can actually go into business for yourself. You can start your own little one-man shop and have your own business. Well, I have courses for that also, and we can help you. Learn how to keep surging forward. Take what you have and create something that can help you and your family and those around you to keep surging forward. So we have courses for that. You can get a hold of me at Surging Forward, again, on Twitter, Instagram. We're out there, Facebook. Just simply go to Facebook and type in Surging Forward. You'll find plenty of stuff out there on Surging Forward, and you can go to the Surging Forward Facebook page, or just simply go to Google, type in Surging Forward. That'll take you right to the website of www.surgingforward.com. But encourage, those around you to step up to the plate. You have a friend of yours in the trade who's an electrician? Ask him, do you have your license? And if you don't have your license, what are you going to do to get your license? Become something. Don't just listen to all the negativity around you of saying that you're a failure just because you're out there working hard out in the field. No, my friends, you are a success when you're working hard out there in the field because you are making something. You are creating something. You're making a difference out there. You're providing power to some facility or place. You're making a difference. You're providing water sources. You're providing a place where somebody can wash their hands. You're providing drinking water. You're providing heat to somebody's home. You're providing a way for somebody to cool their house in just the heat of summer. You're helping somebody create a home. You're putting someone in a great kitchen in their house. My friends, that takes a skill. If you want to go into business for yourself and be your own boss, get a hold of us here at Surging Forward. And I can recommend some courses for you that can help you pass the exam to get your own license. Because that's what I'm here for, is to help you to keep surging forward. Share this podcast with your friends. You want to help those in the trades? This is our 80th podcast. I was looking at a statistic a while back. Most podcasts, and I was kind of looking at some old ones too, most of your podcasts, they die out right between 30 and 60. Well, we're 20 over the 60. And I'm still rocking and rolling, and I do not plan on stopping anytime soon. Because the value that I'm getting and the feedback I'm getting from you, keep those emails coming in. It's worth more to me than any dollar amount I can make. Because that's the encouraging word that I get for me to keep surging forward, because it tells me that I'm making a difference. And if I can make a difference in your life, you can make a difference in somebody else's life. And then that person might be the one that makes a difference in somebody else's life. So share this podcast with your friends. Go to the Facebook page of Surging Forward. Those of you that are on Facebook, hey, I've really gotten a big thing on Facebook. And if you're there on LinkedIn also, check me out on LinkedIn. And go ahead and send me an invite. I will connect with any tradesman on Facebook or LinkedIn. Just send me a request, and we're here to help you. You just let me know what it is you need. Now, I don't have the answers to everything, but that's the cool thing about having a lot of contacts, because I can put you in contact with somebody that does, or I can give you a suggestion of where to look. Now, my friends, yes, some of the stuff's going to cost money sometimes. And it does cost. But I'm going to tell you what you won't have. When you're a tradesman and you go through the apprenticeship program, you're not going to have a $90,000 college degree loan that you got to pay back. You're going to be able to drive that big truck. You're going to be able to have that nice home. Because the more education that you get that you can spend on your own, the more qualified you're going to be. There are so many code courses, so many electrical courses. I have some great people that I know out there in the field that's teaching the code that they also have great courses. See, my friends, you can't take enough code courses. You can't take enough skilled courses for your trade. Take as many as you can and learn to be the best at what you do. And when you learn those things, guess what? Your salary is going to go up. So check out the Surging Forward Facebook page again. I really goofed that up, didn't I? Check out the Surging Forward Facebook page and help us spread the word. And remember, thank a tradesman. And you guys have a great week. If there's anything I can do for you, drop me an email to dave@surgingforward.com. Or just leave me a message on the Facebook page. A lot of time I get that. You can DM me or whatever the case may be. I don't have time to go into all the social stuff. But the biggest thing I want you to do is be proud. Stand tall. Keep your head up. You're a tradesman. There's a lot of people out there in this old world that can't do what you do. So thank you very much, my friends, for your time. And I want you to have a great week this week. Hold your head up and keep surging forward. And until next week, my friend, you have a great week and God bless. We'll talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.